Okay, I gotta get speed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, speed.
Dickey, when did you start playing guitar?
I started playing guitar when I was about 16 years old. That's about 25 years ago.
Why guitar?
Well, I started playing music when I was 3 or 4 years old. I played the ukulele and mandolin and the banjo, and I don't know, when I was playing a lot of country music, like bluegrass, and when I reached 16 years old, around there, I got into Chuck Berry and Dwayne Eddy and started playing the teen clubs and things like that, and I got into guitar, electric guitar.
Were you influenced by them in stylistically, or just in the idea
well,
of grabbing?
Well, at that time, Chuck Berry was a real big influence on my playing. And then as I grew older and played a little while longer, I got into B.B. King, and then I started wondering, well, wonder where B.B. King learned to play. So I started going back into his background, and I discovered Blind Lemon Jefferson and Django Reinhardt, which was a great discovery. And so then I started studying the influences of the guys that I had been listening to for a long time.
Well, how did you get from studying these blues players into being a country rock player and
well,
all that?
A good friend of mine who is one of the best guitar players I've ever seen, his name's Dave Lyle, and he was a brilliant Western swing player, and we jammed together a lot. And I used to live in Indiana, in Ohio, and was playing with a group up there back in, I guess, early 60s. And I was influenced greatly by this man, Western swing, and I got into the twin guitar harmonies along then, and later on we incorporated that into the Allman Brothers Band.
Was the twin guitars, would you say that was the heart of the Allman Brothers sound? What set it apart?
Well, the instrumental part of the band, yeah, and also Barry Oakley played bass along with the guitar lines too, rather than just laying the bottom down. He would actually play the notes along with Dwayne and I.
Well, how did you and Dwayne Allman and Barry work those things out? Were they written? Were they luck?
We did a lot of jamming, and somebody would come up with a line, whether it be Barry or myself or Dwayne or whoever, and we would just play it over and over until we developed it in the process of jamming. And then when we got something that was close, then we'd go ahead and refine it and work it out note for note on a lot of the harmony lines that we did. And a lot of stuff, like on the Fillmore East album, there's a lot of things on there that are played in harmony and different chord changes. We never played them before or after that session. So a lot of it was spontaneous.
What instruments have you used over the years?
You mean through my childhood and all?
Well, it's, since the Allman Brothers days and now what you're playing today.
Well, myself personally, I just play guitar.
I mean, what brand? What models?
Oh, I see. I played, when the Allman Brothers first got together, I was playing 335 Gibson. And then I went to a Stratocaster. And when I went to an SG Gibson, and then I went back to the Les Paul, I guess, in about 1974. And I've got a 57 Les Paul that I've stayed with, through the last 10 years.
What is it that you look for in those instruments?
Sound, response. There's something about a 57, 58, and 59 Les Paul that you can play it without an amplifier in a quiet room, and you can tell the difference in the wood. You can really tell the difference in the sound, and it's a clear sound that cuts through at high volumes, and a pretty sound at low volumes, and it's just a unique sound.
The Allman Brothers certainly had many hits. Statesboro Blues comes to mind, Whip and Post. What was the biggest hit of all?
Our biggest single was Ramblin' Man. The Allman Brothers was not a singles-oriented band. We had the FM radio that was, our base back 10, 12, 14 years ago. And we, as far as record sales, we sold a lot of albums. Ramblin' Man was the #1 record, and the single didn't sell that much, but the album sold 3 or 4 million. So people would hear that song, and instead of going and buying a single, they would buy the album.
And how many times would you say that thing has been played, Ramblin' Man?
I received an award from BMI for, it's called a Millionaires Award, and that means that the song has been played over 1 million times on the radio. And they explained to me that if you gave that record to one radio station and said, just play Ramblin' Man in your format until you've played it 1 million times, it would take them 7 years, 7 years to finish playing it 1 million times. So.
What are how do you get into rock and roll from blues? Are the roots of blues carried forward into rock and roll, and in your style also the roots of country music brought into rock and roll?
Well, the all-American music goes back, I think, to the bagpipes in Ireland and England, and then the fiddle tunes came from the pipes, and then there was different interpretations of that, of the country music, the fiddle songs and everything by the slaves, and that's where the blues roots start, I believe. And jazz is just a generation after generation after generation of the blues, and country music is a generation from the fiddle tunes. And of course nowadays it's all melding together. Each music is influencing the other, so that it's hard to see the gap between them. The music can all run right into, country music goes right into Southern rock, and Southern rock goes, and approaches jazz. And
what's happening with Southern rock and roll these days?
I think Southern rock is is still alive and well, but it's called country music. Hank Williams Jr. and a lot of the groups are, Charlie Daniels, Willie Nelson, are really playing a lot of Southern rock. The lyrics are different. The lyrics are more country music oriented, but the bands are really kicking, really kicking.
What's 1985 going to hold in store for Dickey Betts?
I'm living in Nashville now, and I'm working with Joe Sullivan, and I'm doing country music, doing a lot of songwriting, and getting ready to do a country music album.
Be touring again?
Oh yeah, as soon as we finish the album.
Who's in the band?
I don't have a band together right now. I'm using people that I've worked for over the years to come in and do the sessions, and as far as actually a touring band, I really don't know who will be in it.
On this, in the MTV show, the concert part, you and Brian Setzer will be playing together. Is that the first time? Or? That's
the first time that we will play on stage together. We've done a lot of jamming and backstage and hotel rooms and that sort of thing after his shows and after my shows. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's nice.
Okay, thanks.
Wow, I was going to say, we got like 30 seconds of tape left. That's perfect, thank you.